The rain fell gently against the old windows of a forgotten house at the edge of the village. Inside, the air smelled of memories, dust, old wood, and faded roses that once stood proudly in a vase. This house had once been filled with laughter, with voices that carried hope, with footsteps that marked the rhythm of family life. Now, it was only silence that reigned. A faded photograph sat on a wooden table. In it, a young couple smiled brightly, their eyes filled with dreams. The woman's hands rested gently on the man's shoulder, and his arm was wrapped around her as though the world could never separate them. But life, in its cruel way, often proves otherwise. Amara, now in her late 40s, walked slowly across the creaking floorboards. Her hands trembled as she picked up the photograph. Her eyes, swollen from endless nights of crying, filled again with tears. She had not spoken his name in years, but in her heart, it was carved deeper than time itself. His name was Ayaan, her first love, her last love, the love that never truly left even when everything else did. Their love story began when they were just children in school. Amara, a shy girl with a love for books, had always sat in the corner of the classroom. Ayaan, full of mischief and charm, was the boy every teacher complained about. Yet somehow, when he smiled at her, the world melted away. He would always slide a little folded paper across her desk during math class, scribbled with doodles of hearts and clumsy poems. She still had those notes tucked away in an old box beneath her bed. Years went by, and their bond only grew stronger. When Ayaan's father fell ill, Amara was the one who stood by his side, cooking meals for the family, comforting his younger siblings, making sure Ayaan never lost hope. And when Amara's own mother passed away, Ayaan held her hand throughout the funeral, whispering, "I'm not going anywhere. You're not alone." But life is not kind to those who dream too much. When they turned 20, Ayaan received an offer to study abroad. He begged Amara to come with him, but her father, strict and proud, refused. "Girls from this family do not run away," he declared, crushing Amara's fragile heart. With heavy steps, Ayaan left, promising her that one day he would return. For years, they wrote letters to each other. Pages filled with longing, with dreams of a shared future. But then, one day, the letters stopped. Amara waited by the door every afternoon, praying for the postman to bring her his words. Weeks turned into months, and silence became her only companion. She never knew what had happened. Had he forgotten her? Had he found someone else? Or had fate played another cruel trick? Time moved on, dragging her with it. Her father arranged her marriage to a man she barely knew. Out of duty, not love, she said yes. Her husband was kind, but her heart was never truly his. She lived her life as a wife, later as a mother, always smiling for her children, but inside, her soul carried an emptiness only Ayaan could fill. One winter evening, after decades of silence, a letter arrived. The envelope was old, its edges frayed. The ink had faded slightly, but the handwriting was unmistakable. It was Ayaan's. With trembling fingers, Amara tore it open. "My dearest Amara, if this letter reaches you, it means I am no longer here. Life has played its final card with me. I never wanted to leave you waiting, never wanted you to think I had forgotten. The truth is, I was diagnosed with a disease I could not fight. I left to protect you, to save you from the pain of watching me fade away. Every day of my life, I loved you, even from a distance. If love can survive death, then mine will find you, always. Yours forever, Ayaan." The letter slipped from her hands, and she fell to the floor, sobbing until her chest ached. For years, she had lived believing he had abandoned her, when in truth, he had loved her more than life itself. The weight of all those lost years crushed her, but within her sorrow, there was also peace. She finally knew the truth. That night, she lit a candle by the window, holding the letter to her chest. She whispered into the darkness, "I loved you too, Ayaan. I always did." The wind outside howled, carrying with it the faintest echo of his laughter. And for the first time in decades, Amara smiled through her tears.